Can I have someone help me with this one? Because it's kind of like a little play.
Sure.
I just need one other person. You can come.
Okay.
I was gonna ask you. I think you'd really fit the role.
Ooh.
All right.
What do I do?
I'll tell you. But first, okay. The play is called Murder on a Glacier.
Am I gonna get murdered?
Not quite. Well, shh. All right. Act 1, scene 1. Well, actually, I'll start with the characters. Rose Lamont, Claire Padilla, Hutch Frost, the old man, 3 castle guards, 2 fake castle architects, Rose Lamont's lawyer, Rose Lamont's lawyer's impersonator, a sheep in wolf's clothing, and a sheep that is actually an oboe. An oboist who is actually a shepherd. The senseless room where it all began. Athanasius Weaves Snorkel Yaffingsgale. 9,000 harpsichords and their lawyers. A hipster howler monkey. A stein full of yak backwash. Claire Padilla's true self. All the bugs you've ever killed. A bowl containing the sunned remains of Neufchâtel and nectarine. The mezuzah that has broken the most collarbones. Patterns that look like people in a bad paint job and their presumptive conversational stylings. The old man's oddly heavy gloves. 10 mysterious photos that can't be explained. Spiritually opaque, psychologically transparent Paul. Psychologically opaque, spiritually transparent Paul. Dante's loveless Hickey. The saddest man ever. An entire musical about feta. A mosquito, droll comments on which occupy the 3 castle guards for the rest of the play. The cups with which the old German burgomasters hid their laughter as they convinced the king to name a town Dusseldorf. A scrap of sympathy in a stranger's eye. Rose Lamont's lawyer's true self. The playwright himself. The lost sheet music to which Das Kapital was intended to be sung. Prank edible ladies' underwear. Dead serious men's edible underwear. Book 4 of The Adventures of Hutch Frost, Early Bird Gets the Justice. The foreman of a fake barf factory. The engineer in charge of the fart ventilation system in the Joe Biden bodysuit. An all emoji translation of Hobbes' Leviathan. Rose Lamont's nosy cab driver. An extramarital smile. Claire Padilla's unexpected endocuplets. Someone whose whole personality is not getting Lyme disease. Castilian Ramses Asfandial. Everything that has ever seen the playwright naked in the form of a bear. Everything that's ever wanted to see the playwright naked in the form of a baby bear. An understandable coffin. An elderly Chinese cigarette. The middle school all-girls band Lacey and the Fogged Up Glasses performing their hit single Bobby's Locker. The Cuban Missile Chrysanthemum. Mathematics in the form of a stupid salmon. Rose Lamont's ugliest cousin awakening from a rabbit stew. The 11 old ladies inexplicably hired to co-teach a single middle school choir. A gray tweed golfing hat which has little bits of red thread if you look close enough. The human drama's understudy on her phone in the dressing room. The quiet hamlet of Cloth Macross Rathgarrick's Mahuli. The old man's rumbledy thumps. A bisexual jacuzzi. Mr. Charles Jolly. Lingerie with a lisp. A saucy, impertinent minotaur. A hapless but lovable shark scientist hanging out of a shark's mouth. An absolute humdinger and his lover, the big kahuna. A couple of boozy, fat-bottom phlebotomists approximating classic Zydeco songs with armpit farts. The slowly fading bioluminescent remains of an unidentified animal scraped against the pavement. Words which Rose Lamont would have never said, written in Rose Lamont's unmistakable handwriting. A freshman playing Hamilton songs on the ukulele inside of an anaconda. Hutch Frost's suddenly buxom Sherpa. The ghost of all the moldy Tupperware you've ever thrown out instead of cleaning. A glacier wearing 13 dead bodies as a sort of funny hat. 1 pound of Waldorf chicken salad. Jack the Ripper's side of the story. The great heaviness just below Rose Lamont's throat. 3.5 billion charismatic pubic termites. A vending machine that has had 4 nickels in it for 60 years, still waiting for the final nickel. A monk putting dandelion fluff back on the stem. The artichoke of pure light. Claire Padilla's mile-long perambulator. The music that plays whenever one of the souls of the children that Barbara Bush has eaten alive arrives in heaven. Someone who is nice to you no matter what. Genghis Connor. A horse named Claire come back. The penny farthing on which Alfred Pruitt chased the old gods out of town. Malcolm X's last name wearing a fustian trench coat and making tally marks in a small notebook at mysterious intervals. A library containing only copies of this play. A hard-earned queef. A seahorse... A seahorse with Hutch Frost's conveniently lost wedding ring around its neck. A water gun with a breast pump attachment. The ghost of Hamlet wearing Tommy Bahama shirt and hangover sunglasses. A king whose speech is inaudible over his ill-timed farting. A surly man constantly sharpening a knife and glaring at the sign language translator. Rose Lamont's Macintosh made of Svalbard reindeer hide and stuffed with puffin guts. The finally dislodged splinter that has been making the devil so angry all this time. Ebenezer Golgotha, a porn star, amateur photographer, and hot air balloon stuntman. A weather vane insisting it's not a symbol of anything. A piece of head cheese with the old man's dentures left biting into it. An albino giraffe perched delicately atop a bonsai tree. A snow-covered soldier who thinks the Irish Civil War is still raging on. The fake castle architect's drool, which smudged the blueprints and eventually became the senseless room where it all began, and its lover, a drop of Rose Lamont's blood saturated with snow white and moon silver. An award-winning aerial photograph of 4 presumably human black dots standing on an Arctic plain. A wad of cash with the old man's dentures still biting into it. Volume 6 of The Adventures of Hutch Frost, Strawberries and Ivory. The red kiss mark of Claire Padilla's lips on a meteorite a billion light years away. And Rose Lamont's dead body. Okay, Act 1, Scene 1. This is where you come in.
Okay.
All enter at once.
Alright.
They notice the theater is too small for both of them and the audience, and so politely ask the audience to leave. The audience, not liking what they've seen so far, don't put up a fight. The light falls on Rose Lamont's dead body, and all except Rose Lamont begin to sing a requiem. The cast of the entire musical about Feta, who are rehearsing in an adjacent theater, come around to ask the playwright to keep it down. Playwright. The end.